College players can finally start making money. It's about time. We're finally going to get our game back. After all these years, 7 years without, well, now 8 years, this 2021. We're finally going to get a NCAA video game back, and it's great for us to see, but there's more to this that many people don't really see and many people don't really understand, and it's a lot of controversial stuff. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. We're going to be going in depth with it a little bit, so stay tuned. So to understand this a little bit more, we got to go back to 1984 where there was an antitrust case versus the NCAA with the University of Oklahoma. University of Oklahoma wanted to control their own television rights. NCAA said, no, we control all that, so they went to court, and it was deemed antitrust. Now the schools are able to have their own television rights. That's the reason why Notre Dame has all their games on NBC, you have the SEC network, you have the SEC even on ESPN, you have the ACC now getting their own deal. It's all over the place. You got the Big Ten having their own Big Ten network alongside the Fox Sports. So it's all that and everything in between. But there was one thing that really stemmed from that the NCAA took with advantage, and the reason why they weren't allowed to pay their players is because they had amateurism involved in just a line. It was just a throwaway line. Nobody really cared about it until the NCAA saw that and they're like, now we don't have to pay our players because they're amateurs. So we fell into all this system, and we really were like all along this system that, yeah, players don't need to make money. They play their games and they get drafted into the NFL, the NBA, and they make their money that way. And we fell into this system so much until we lost our video game. That's really it. The reason why is because many players ended up making a court case against the NCAA and EA Sports that you're using our likeness and we don't like it, so we're suing you because we want our money. I mean, it was scummy the way they were doing it. It was because NCAA were making the exact same player, exact height, exact weight, exact figure, and very close to their face, and we're just getting away with it after all these years and not paying any of the players. But then you have all these generic coaches. But then, like, everybody started looking into this and seeing how stupid this law is, the reason why these players cannot be paid. You have Katie Ledecky, who couldn't even accept a waffle maker on the Ellen Show because it was against NCAA violation. You have OBJ, who's giving out money to LSU players who just got out of the league and are going into the NFL draft, and he gets banned from every single game. I forgot how long, but I think it was like a year or two. And then another one was destroying the YouTuber who couldn't even make money off his YouTube channel because it's against NCAA, so he chose YouTube over playing in football. And then you started seeing these states start going into these passing laws about name, image, and likeness, that so much that California was preparing for 2023 when they passed the law back in September of 2019. But nobody expected it to be that early, and Florida was the one that led the charge of when these players should be paid, because June 2020, Florida passed a bill that would be granted in July 1st, 2021, which was what day was that? Thursday. This past Thursday, players could start getting paid as long as the NCAA approved of it. So finally, after all these years, NCAA is finally allowing these players to get paid, and it's finally about time. So here are the rules that NCAA is allowing their players to make money off their name, image, and likeness. So the first bullet point that I see here from CBS Sports is the individuals can engage in NIL activities that consist with the law of the state where they are located. Colleges and universities are responsible for determining whether those activities are consistent with the law. 24 states currently have a bill passed, but 14 states have it affected immediately, like right now when everything came out. So a lot of these schools are consistent of like where they are located, especially with the big schools that they have located there. So Georgia has the University of Georgia. Alabama has Alabama and Auburn. You have Mississippi, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. You have all like these big schools that currently have a bill passed right now that these players can start making money right at this very moment. You have California that has a bill passed currently, but players are not supposed to make money until 2023, which is where this next bullet point comes in. College athletes who attend a school in a state without a NIL law can engage in these activities without violating NCAA rules related to name, image, and likeness. So players are able to go in and start making money, but they might have to go to the state and get it all approved to make sure that they're in line with what they believe. So that might be a slower process for those schools. And then that also falls into the fourth bullet point that I'm seeing here, which student athletes should report NIL law activities consistent with the state law or school and conference requirements to their school. I know Oklahoma and I believe Illinois have laws where the schools can determine like everything that goes in between, while other states really don't have that consistent law. So yes, we have 24 schools that have a bill passed and are ready to go. 14 have it effective immediately right now. Other schools are currently waiting till like maybe 2022 or later in the year, or 2023 like in California. And then we have 14 schools that have a bill introduced, and then we have 10 schools that don't have a bill at all. Which, looking at some of the states, you're affecting all of Indiana's schools with Purdue, Indiana, and Notre Dame. You have Wisconsin that's affecting, Wisconsin. And then you have Idaho, which is affecting Boise State. So, which could affect where students can go, where these athletes go, because, well, if your school's not making money, you have the opportunity to make money. Why would you go to a college that doesn't have a bill passed? And you're going to be having a harder time making money in those schools when you could go down to Georgia and make money right away. And now finally, we get to what this all means, which is that the players can start making money. Of course, it still permits like what their state permits, what the college permits, what the college allows, and what brands are in the college, because you don't want anything conflicting within everything. Because you don't want an athlete signing a deal with Adidas when you're a Nike school, so you're still going to have to get approval for everything that happens over there. Okay, so this is a bit of a mess up right here. You can actually make money just based off like other sponsors that you have. So you could be a Nike school and be sponsored by Adidas as long as you're not flaunting it during your sporting event. So carry on. But even then, these college athletes still have so much brand recognition behind them just based off who they are. Like I went to the University of Georgia. I attended there and got a degree in sport management, and people were telling me Jake Fromm was in their class, and I never really got to see him in my class. But I still had a couple football players in my class, and they're very recognizable, and everybody sort of flocks towards them whenever they're in the class. So the amount of brand recognition that these players have, you can't tell me that there's not a market for them in the college universe. Instead of using a announcer or a reporter or anything like that on the ESPN commercial, now they can actually use these college athletes to actually promote their own sport and their own brand that will help a lot of people get some recognition towards them, the sport, and their conferences, and their schools for that matter. For one thing, you might actually see less one and done players in college basketball, because now you're actually seeing these players get some more money now and be able to develop their skills a little bit more for the NBA, unless they're obviously a top 10 or top 20 pick. With the less one-and-done players, you're probably going to see less busts come out of the draft. That's not only just the NBA, but you're going to see in the NFL, NHL, anywhere that there's a draft permitted, you're probably going to see less busts come out, or even less players come out for the later rounds, because if you have the opportunity to better your craft, get a degree as just a quick backup plan, and you're a 7th-round pick in your 3rd year, just stay for your 4th year, make some money on the side, and come out, and maybe you're like a 2nd or 3rd round pick now. So it betters your crafting, it betters like who you are and how much money you can make in the near future. But you can also make some money now, so there's no rush. We're also probably going to be seeing is a lot more professional leagues for maybe these smaller athletic programs like softball, volleyball. You're probably going to be seeing more recognition towards lacrosse or with the PLL. You're probably going to be some more recognition with athletes coming into the draft for NWSL and the WNBA, because a lot of these players you probably wouldn't even know outside of just like these just going to the school pretty much. Now that these players are starting to get more followings, you're going to be having more brand recognition behind them. You're probably going to be supporting them and seeing them go through their entire college career, and then you're going to be noticing there's a professional league out there. I can go and watch this athlete for a longer time. That's what the NFL, NHL, NBA, all those professional leagues do for a lot of these college athletes now, because a lot of these people, like I know my friend who, this is a Mississippi State fan, noticed Dak Prescott went to the Dallas Cowboys. He's a Dallas Cowboy fan now because he followed along with Dak Prescott. And you're probably going to be seeing this with a lot more of the smaller athletic programs. So you're going to be seeing more recognition towards those programs, and everyone's going to be paying attention now. What this also means is out with the traditionalists and in with the innovators, because traditionalists don't want to see these players make money because that's not part of the tradition of college football. It's You're supposed to be playing the game for your school. You have a scholarship right now. You're getting free school, and you have an opportunity to make millions coming out of college. So why do you need to make money during college? So a lot of these fans are definitely gonna probably be leaving. You see a lot of fans not like change. The traditionalists are just gonna be out there looking for these players to screw up so that they can be like, "Ha! You see, these players cannot do this. They cannot make money." But it's a part of the process. You're gonna be seeing players screw up. You're gonna be seeing players lose sponsorship because of their own actions, and this is the whole process of what goes on. So yes, you're gonna see players screw up, and that's gonna be a whole process that these professional teams are gonna be going through, because now you're gonna be able to see what these players are able to do with the money and see how they are as a brand recognition, because now these professional teams are billion-dollar corporations. They want players on their teams that can represent their brand at the highest. It's probably going to be judgmental on who gets drafted before who and where they get drafted and everything. So it's going to be a little bit of a process with these professional leagues, and a lot of these fans are not going to like it, but it's part of the process. It's part of what everything goes on. That's my whole thoughts. That's everything that I wanted to talk about. I want to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. I also want to know like what you guys think of the video, and yeah, I hope you guys stick along and stay tuned.